The yellow faces are, this pale yellow, symbolic of the bad life and the poor diet of street people in New York. It always seems to work out the best for someone who's down and out. By doing this, I'm really not trying to romanticize living on the street. It's just part of life here. This is no different from painting one of these heads, except that I have to paint both sides of three-dimensional things, so it takes twice as much paint. And so when I'm mixing up a color, I always have to remember to mix twice as much as I do when I'm painting. And it's very rewarding to turn it around and paint the other side and see the effect of three-dimensionality taking place, and just because of color. I grew up with some pretty rough characters, and several of them went to prison, and I went to art school. And, you know, it's possible I could have gone to prison. I found another option, and that was art. And maybe we all took on the system. My life in Dallas was SMU, and I did everything that I possibly could to help anyone who needed my help. It was a lucky person who came to me and wanted my help, because they got 100% of what they were asking for. And I had some awfully good students there and at the Dallas Museum. There are other bases for art than just personality or self-expression as the older. I had a life before Dallas, and this was Denison and student years, but Dallas was the meat of my life. That's where I learned who I was, as well as one can learn that. Something I dearly love about the Upper West Side is the diversity of people. Yeah, I don't have to own that out there. I'm happy to just have it as part of my daily ambiance. Are we in New York? I probably owe that to Jeanette, because I was afraid of New York. I loved it, but I thought I would be just beaten down here, or some fantasy that I think a lot of people, especially men, have of New York. They're afraid that some of their male power will be taken away from them here. And it's true that New York is a democracy, and at least in street culture, no one is above anyone else. We're all the same, and there's a code of behavior here. You don't get in somebody's face and they don't get in yours, but you're polite. Well, a lot of artists, as they age, maybe they lose some of the support that they had earlier when they were, quote, emerging artists, and often they imitate themselves just to maybe stay in a gallery or to have someone throw a bone to them, and perhaps out of fear of despair. But really, despair can be a great motivation, and I think it would be much better for an artist to stay open and keep looking, keep abreast of challenges that might be in the air in the art world, than it is to just settle, give up, accept. Because when that happens, you're no longer an artist. You might still be a painter or a sculptor or a printmaker, but I make a distinction there. Yeah, most people in most professions retire, I suppose, but I think one of the blessings of being an artist is that there's no such thing as retirement. You work uh, until you die.